me? Did you miss me, Lexi? I just went to AutoZone. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm here. Yeah, I love you. I love you, girl. Okay, can I get back to this? Alright, they need a new video. Okay? Yeah, you're getting jealous, I know. Alright, what's up guys? So I'm back at Christensen Auto Body. Jason's actually out there working on a couple cars. Both of us were inside for a good amount of time, but I got to set up and get a lot of footage for this video. I'm gonna be doing the cam install, the Crowler stage ones that I got from Modern Performance. Most recent video you guys have seen. If you guys haven't, go check it out at the top right of the screen or in the description below. I have my Crowler stage ones in there already, torqued down in sequence. Not gonna really go over it right this second because I want you guys to follow step by step to get where I am right now. It's really not that hard of a task. It's more or less just making sure everything is clean and making sure you have this Lucas assembly oil. In my last video where I showed you guys all my new parts, I stupidly forgot my Lucas assembly oil, so I couldn't go install those. Most likely I will. I don't know. I don't know if I have everything. Oh, I don't. I really don't. I don't have. So I had to switch up that video just a little bit, but you guys have liked it. And Modern Performance smashed that like button too. So if you guys have not realized that they have a YouTube channel, they haven't uploaded in a long time, but I'll link that in the description also. You can go ahead and subscribe to their channel, and hopefully that inspires them to go ahead and upload another video. I'm gonna get into doing my timing. Hopefully you guys like this video. Smash that like button at the end or right now just to help me out, because I'm helping you guys out like usual. Caliber SRT-4 guys, if you guys have not seen any of my Caliber videos, there is a playlist Caliber, and it is basically how-tos on pretty much everything on that thing. I'm no longer a Caliber SRT-4 owner, but now I'm working on my Neon SRT-4 build and trying to finish it. There it is, my cams are installed. Let's get into this video. Okay, so I have everything pretty much laid out on the table that I'm gonna be using. If not, I have it laying around on the floor because today we are gonna go ahead and install my new Crowler Stage 1 cams into my cylinder head that was refurbished. Crowler springs and everything else is stock other than the ARP head studs. You guys can also notice on these cam caps, the intake is L, 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 and they also have numbers right under the L. So L, this is 1 cap, 2 cap, 3 cap, 4 cap, 5 cap, 6 cap. You have the exhaust, which this is R cap, which is the rear timing cap, along with the L1. It's the R1. You got R2, R3, R4, R5, and R6. L6 is a 3-piece cap where it has 8mm and 2 10mm bolts. This cap has 4 10mm bolts, and every other cap you see here, L2, L3, L4, L5, R2, R3, R4, R5, and R6 are all 8mm. It says position the camshaft on cylinder head bearing journals. Install right and left camshaft bearing caps. Numbers 2 to 5 and right number 6. Alright, now that you have all your bolts inside a piece of cardboard all lined up as if they were in order, just remember that, you know, which one's intake, which one's exhaust. I know this is intake because it has these 3 bolts on this end cap, which is L6. Every cap is still in place, and what I'm gonna do is more or less take one off and put it on the table in row so we don't have to worry about getting confused. More or less how it displayed right there is how you want to lay it down on the table right there. Make sure your surface is nice and clean also. Alright, now that you have your cam caps all in line just like it is here on the paper. Before I go ahead and actually install the cams onto the head and the journal areas and lubricate it with assembly oil. Right here, you guys. Here's my Lucas Assembly Lube semi-synthetic. I want to go ahead and take out my rockers and clean them up with some parts cleaner. and lay them back into spot after applying some lube. So I'm probably going to go ahead and clean each one of these individually with a clean lint-free cloth, and probably put some Lucas back on there and let them just slide right back in, because that's basically what they should be doing. If they're stuck or they're not going back in, you had to force them, then something's wrong. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean these up real quick and get back to you guys. Alright, now that I have my lifters and my rockers nice and clean, I can go ahead and take my Lucas assembly lube and go ahead and lube each and every single one and put them back in. Now that the lifters are done, we'll go ahead and do the rockers. Go ahead and lube the bottom of it and that little hole. Rotate that bearing. Put this little indentation right on top of the lifter, and the bottom of that rocker should sit right on top of the valve where the keeper is and the retainer. Rotate and assemble. Do that to the rest of them. Now that we got the intake side down, we can go ahead and switch this towel, and we're gonna go ahead and do the exhaust side. It's the same thing we just did. So go ahead and take out your rockers, take out your lifters. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this parts cleaner and spray every single one down and then inspect. One thing you want to make sure when you go ahead and clean is you don't leave any type of debris, even a piece of hair like that. Just make sure you inspect everything. Make sure you inspect down there where the lifters go. Now that I have my lifters and my rockers in place, I'm gonna go ahead and clean all the journals for the exhaust and the intake, along with the head surface. Alright, now that I got my cylinder head nice and clean, I also cleaned the cam caps. I cleaned the cap 1, which is intake and exhaust. Then I cleaned up 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 end cap, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 exhaust, and I also cleaned up the crowd cams. I just gotta go ahead and spray them down with brake parts cleaner. Now I can go ahead and take my assembly lube and literally just put them right in this journal area. Go ahead and put a dab. A dab will do ya. Intake. And it doesn't hurt to go ahead and put them back on your rockers again, because your lopes are going to be sitting on each rocker. So just going to go ahead and double lube them. Okay. And then go ahead and put some here too. A little thing right there. Alright, that. And just make sure it's not going where the seals are gonna be. I wanna just make sure it's free of this lube. Now we can go ahead and install these crowers right after I spray them down with brake parts cleaner. This is my original OEM intake cam. Show you that this end has a star drive screw holding in the magnet. You can notice that the one that I'm holding, the OEM one, is a little thicker on the end, where basically the back of the motor where the transmission bolts up to. You can see that one right in the back is a little thicker like this one. So that one will be my intake. Go ahead and take the intake. All the way in the back there's some threads, and that's where the magnet screw will thread into, and insert it into its home. Now we can take the exhaust, which you can see there are no threads in the end. And go ahead and lay that in. Take more assembly lube and put it right on top, just a dab, just like that, and they can go right on the lobes too. I call them lopes, but I think they're called lobes, but someone correct me in the comments. Now we can look here on the camshafts installation. Lubricate all camshaft bearing journals, rocker arms, and camshaft lobes. Install all rocker arms in original positions if reused. Position camshafts on cylinder head bearing journals. Install right and left camshaft bearing caps, number 2 to 5. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right in order, just like that. R2, this will be R3, R4, R5, intake L2, L3, L4, L5. Go ahead and take your assembly lube, give it another dab. And right number 6. So right number 6 is gonna be this one. Take your number 6 cap. Tighten M6 fasteners to 12 Newton meters, 105 inch-pounds, in sequence shown in figure 35, right here. So this is the torque sequence, torque spec, again, 12 Newton meters or 105 inch-pounds. So that will be on all M6 fasteners. These 8mm ones for intake. So you got 2, 3, 4, 5. And these 8mm for exhaust. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now I'm gonna go ahead and put those in there. Tighten them just enough that they touch down. This will be a good time to actually use the blue thread locker. Something I like to do is when you use this thread locker, go ahead and put a little bit in this little tray, and it makes it a lot easier just to go ahead and dab your bolt in and put it into spot. I finished my intake and pretty much almost touched them down, but you can see the exhaust is a little bit higher. I'm more or less just gonna go ahead and do the same to the exhaust, and once that's done we can go ahead and torque them in order. What we're gonna do is do the intake first. So you can see that cam cap 3 is the first one we're gonna do. So you're gonna start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pretty much to go ahead and get to 105 inch-pounds, I have to unlock it and I have to bring up my 0 up to 100 and then 5 clicks over to get to that number 5. So let's go ahead. If you guys are interested in this torque wrench, I'll leave it in the description below. So what I'm gonna do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lock it. And there we go. That is 105 inch-pounds. To do this job, I had to use a 3/8 to a 1/4 inch for these 8mm. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it on cam cap number 3, number 1. So in torque sequence, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that is gonna be 105 inch-pounds. Snug that down evenly. We're gonna do this one. 7. Now 8. Go to number 1, and that is gonna go down to 105 inch-pounds. Once it clicks, you're at 105 inch-pounds. Go to number 2. Now number 3. Go to number 4 and tighten that. We're just bringing them down evenly. That is exactly what we're doing right here. Alright, now we're going to go to number 3 and torque it down. Number 4. Go to number 5. Number 5, 105 inch-pounds. Number 6. Okay, now we're gonna go to number 7. 5, number 8, $105. Now we're gonna just go ahead and double check it in order. Number 1. Yep. That one turned a little bit more. 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, and number 8. Now that cap number 2, 3, 4, 5 intake is torqued down to 105 inch-pounds. I can show you guys here that the exhaust is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you have cap number 6, which will be 9 and 10. So that'll go down to 105 inch-pounds also. So we can go ahead and start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just gonna start with number 1. Go to number 2, snug it up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now those are snug. Now we can go torque it down to 105 inch-pounds. Snug number 2, number 1. 105, number 2. Snug number 3 and 4 down. Start with 3. Okay, number 3, 105 inch-pounds. Number 4, number 5. You can go ahead and snug that down, along with number 6. Okay, go ahead and torque number 5 down. 105, number 6, 105, number 7, and number 8 we're going to snug down a little bit. Number 8, last but not least, number 9 and number 10 are cap 6, 105. Number 10. I'm going to go over it again one more time. This will be number 1. You can see that it's turned a little bit more. So 105. Number 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Now, if we go back to the directions, it says apply Mopar gasket maker to number 1 and number 6 bearing caps, figure 36. So if we flip over to the next page, you got figure 36. So you got the end cap, which goes in the front of the motor. They basically want you to apply gasket maker to number 1 and number 6 cap. So this would be number 6 cap, L6, and you got L1 and R1 together. So install bearing caps and tighten M8 fasteners to 28 Newton meters or 250 inch-pounds. So we're going to be working with 250 inch-pounds. And pretty much where they want you to apply the anaerobic sealer is where they show you these black marks. So on the edge, over here, 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 and there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dab some around here. Here. Okay, and then here. Just go ahead and put that on there and use your finger and smear all around this area. Same with this area around the dowels. Just don't overdo this stuff, you guys, and don't get in those oil passages. If you have to, you can literally just take a rag and get off right around the edge. See what I did? Same with this area right there. And now I'm gonna go ahead and install it. And also take a rubber hammer, lightly tap that thing down, let it flush. I'm gonna go ahead and take these 4 end bolts, which are 10 millimeters. They're known as M8 fasteners. Like I said earlier, you just want to go ahead and put some thread locker in there. It's a little bit easier for you. So what we're gonna do is take each one and put them in, but not snug them down, because I want to show you guys the order that I did in my caliber. More or less the way I put them in is the way that I'm going to torque them down on the head. Basically just take this as 1, 2, 3, 4. That's pretty much how I do end caps. There is no torque sequence for this end cap L6, so just so you guys know that. And we have our last M8 fastener. Go. So there we go. Now we're gonna go ahead and take this magnet right here. We're gonna get this 10 millimeter that dropped in there earlier, and we are gonna go ahead and slap it on here. Snug them down in this order. Just do exhaust rear bolt as 1, intake rear bolt as 2, exhaust front as 3, and intake front as number 4. That way it seats evenly. I'm just gonna go ahead and change my torque wrench to 250 inch-pounds. Go ahead and unlock it. I like to back it out to 0 to get all the pressure out. Rotate it a couple times, and then we can go ahead and raise it up to 250. Now you want that 0 to hit that 250. That is 250. So now we're gonna go ahead and rotate to the right, and that is locked. That is at 250 inch-pounds. In order, 1, 2, 3, 4. 250 inch-pounds. 2. 3. 4. Now I'm just going to go over it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, end cap number 1, L1 and R1 is now torqued down to 250 inch-pounds. 1, 2, 3, 4. In that order, just go ahead and double check it. Now we have L6 that we have to go ahead and put anaerobic sealer on. So here's the 3 bolts. We have 2 10 millimeters, which are M8 fasteners, and we have 1 M6 fastener. Here's your cap. We are gonna go ahead and put some of this just like they did here. You can see both corners. So we're gonna lay it right in front, lay it some right there, and then right here. Mirror that in with my finger. Now, like I said, don't put too much. Only want it right on that edge. So, clearly I have too much. You can go ahead and put this cap back on. Just make sure you put some assembly lube on there, because I almost forgot. Go ahead and put my cap on. and use a rubber hammer. Just lightly tap it on there. Literally, I'm not even putting a lot of pressure. There it is. Now I will go ahead and insert my M8. Put a little thread locker back in there. There. A little bit on this one. And now my M6. Go ahead and snug these down. And in this sequence, I'm gonna make my own M8 fasteners, 250 inch-pounds. I can go ahead and torque this one to 250. There we go. And I think I'm gonna skip that one and just go straight to this one so I don't have to keep on changing my torque wrench. But don't get me wrong, I'm gonna double check. Now I'm gonna go change it back to 105 inch-pounds and switch over to my 8mm. So the M6 are 8mm and the M8s are 10mm. So our last step is going ahead and installing oil seals. Refer to 9 engine cylinder head camshaft oil seals installation. Install camshaft target, magnet, and camshaft positioning sensor. I am not going to install a sensor on here now because the fact that I am not going to be reusing the sensor magnet. There's the magnet, and here is the sensor. I'm actually going to go ahead and buy new OEM, but I do have the cam seals that I showed you guys in my most recent video. 04777086-002. This just means the quantity in here. There's 2 seals in here. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and open these seals, and pretty much we are done installing the cams into the cylinder head, and we are good to go. I do have my old cam seals, which you can clearly see are not damaged, but I just decided, since I stupidly ordered a second pair, I might as well go ahead and install them and show you guys how I install them. Pretty much, you have that anaerobic gasket maker that actually seeps out of the areas around the caps. So I just went ahead and I wiped those, but I also noticed there was some in here, so I took a rag and I wiped it just so it didn't dry, because that stuff dries pretty quickly. Now what I do with these is I usually just go ahead and slide them in evenly, just like this. Try not to force them, alright? Don't put any type of lube or anything on them. Just go ahead and try to push them in evenly. If you have to, you can get a socket that goes around it. So let's see if I have a socket go over. Nope, too small. Let's try this one. Not too small. And doesn't look like I have something. So I'm just gonna have to go ahead and push it in there myself, and then I'll take something blunt. Better yet, let's go ahead and use this. It just has to go in there evenly, flat, flush against the wall. And I know I'm gonna have to do this with 2 hands on the intake one, because the exhaust one went in there fine. So a 1/4 inch should work fine. Clearly that's what I'm using. It worked perfectly, actually. So there they are. They're in there, looking nice. There we go, you guys. My Crowler Stage 1 cams now installed into my cylinder head. Hopefully you guys like this video. Like I said at the end of all my other videos, smash that like button and comment down below. If you haven't yet subscribed, do that. Follow me on Instagram. Modern Performance, I cannot wait until I hear this start up, and that lope, I just can't wait. My buddy Smiley just installed his into his build, and pretty much our builds are pretty much the same. So here's a clip to end this video. Hopefully you guys liked it. Smash that like button like I always say. And until next time, guys, be easy and stay tuned. Peace.